It's Sunday night. You're at your house trying not to get burnt out because the house is in such disarray. And you're just trying to organize your thoughts. You're trying to wonder, how did you get here? How did you get so burnt out? How did you get so exhausted? And how did it come to this? It was like in the blink of an eye, everything like flashed before your eyes. And your kids were preteens, teenagers, and you're just here running from event to sporting event to whatever is next in this chapter of your life. And you have zero clarity on what the hell you're doing with yourself and your life. You're figuring out things. You're wondering, why is this thing showing up in my life? Why I have zero energy when it comes to things? And why am I struggling to find some sense of purpose in this world? You're trying to maintain friendships. You're trying to meet friends. You're trying to connect with others. You're trying to maintain a sense of normalcy. But there is no normal in this world. There is really no sense of completion or perfection because this world is chaos. And when you accept that, that's when you realize that you find your firm foundation somewhere else besides in the chaos that you consumed yourself with. And I think we get to this point where we are so lost in the abyss of the maintaining the chaos that you have created in this world that you really lose sense of self. And when you lose sense of self, you really aren't sure where to go next in your life. What's the next chapter look like for you? I find myself here. I struggle to maintain a consistent schedule because I'm so caught up in really trying to find this purpose in my life. And honestly, I feel like I found my purpose, but to put it together, I struggle sometimes. I struggle with finding where I'm going to begin and where I'm going. And I think the problem is lying in the consistency. And I think being a mom, you want to make sure your children have the consistent life, but do you have the consistent life you want for yourself? And it all boils down to diet, exercise, and just really living a healthy lifestyle. Because if you miss one meal or two meals and you throw off your day because you ate donuts for breakfast, which I did today, which is really odd. The rest of the day I was thrown off, honestly, because of the sugar intake. And honestly, then you have a sugar crash. And I never used to have it this bad until later on in life. And now that I'm in my late 30s, I think that it's really taken and shown me how important and valuable it is to be intentional with everything you do in life. And intention is so much more than what you eat, but it's the fact that what you eat is nourishing you, what you do is purposeful, and what you have placed before you to take up time in your life is so much more than what it is, meaning you have a reason behind what you're doing in life. And we get to this pivotal point in our life where we question, are we really here for the right reason? Are we really putting our time and effort forth for the right thing at the right time? And if it isn't the right time, do we revisit it later on, like an instrument or, for example, a career choice? Do we wait to do it till later on, or is right now the right time because we failed before at something? And that's why I decided to do the life coaching option holistically, because it looks at the person wholeheartedly and not just for that particular moment. When we look at ourselves intentionally deep down inside, what do we see? Do we know what it feels like to be alone? Do we know what we are guided toward? Do we know what we gravitate toward? And I think, even though I really sometimes hate content creation, I feel like the little bit of awareness and faith and things I spread that bring awareness to spreading joy or happiness in someone's life can make a difference. One interaction can change someone's outlook for the day, can change someone's feelings for that particular day, and can change the trajectory of the day or the week or the month. And just having that one interaction can make a difference in someone's life. So keep that in mind. If you meet someone, greet them with happiness and smile, because you never know what an impact you can make in their life. And I think, you get older, and as you get older, you realize that intentionally, these choices really add up. Each choice you decide to go with decides your future. And I feel like we learn from our past mistakes, our failures. And yeah, in life and business, you're going to fail. You're going to make mistakes. But knowing that you can't repeat the pattern, you can't be so caught off guard, you have to be self-aware. And you have to be self-aware of these signs that are placed before you in your life. And I think the energy you put out will be the energy you attract in this world. So you put out this energy where you're, vibing with other people, and you want to attract people that need help, that need this sense of awareness in their life, and God will bring them to you. And, it's crazy because you think negatively and you're brought, misery loves company, and you're brought those negative feelings and thoughts. You want people that are open and aware. And sometimes maybe you don't get delivered that, but you get delivered a person that needs that push in life, or that needs that guidance or that advice because they need someone to listen to them. And you're there for that. But being aware and knowing that you can push forth this positive energy into this world is so incredible. I feel like so many people get caught up on the negatives in life, but forget that there are so many things to be grateful for, so many incredible things in this world, in this life. And I think we look to so many things to be miserable about. And society tells us that. And I think, it's not based on that. The more things you get will not determine your happiness. And the more friends you have will not determine your happiness. It's about having quality relationships. It's about having intentional time spent, about being pure and authentic. If you can't be your authentic self in this world, what are you being? Who are you appeasing? And I think this goes amiss a lot of times, and we want to be something that society tells us to be, but we're missing out on so many other greater things in this world. And why are we being this person that we aren't supposed to be? And, you often say, what am I supposed to be? And I think, what lights your soul on fire? What are you passionate about? And for me, I'm passionate about connecting people to the right thing at the right time and helping them. And I'm also passionate about my faith in Christianity. And I'm passionate about spreading the word of God. And I'm passionate about showing others that, their vision of what they thought God might be might not necessarily be the right vision. And God is always there for you no matter what. And I think having a firm foundation in Christianity is so intentional. And having some guidance in life because, I think when we really look deep down inside, not having a foundation or some faith to guide us in life is lonely. It's challenging because, we experience chaos on so many levels in this world. And if we don't set ourselves straight or get back up, because it's easy to stay off the horse when we fall off, but getting back on and being resilient is what's important. And I think throughout my life, I've been shown that as someone that's experienced PTSD on many levels. I think that what has really shown up in my life has been a true testimony to what God can do. And I think, maybe you don't have that relationship that I do or that you would like with God. But I tell you, what have you got to lose? Pray about it and see what happens in your life. But I'm also talking about, one day when you wake up and you realize that what are you doing and where are you in your life? And I think, sometimes you disassociate and you feel like time has flown by, and were you really intentional? Were you really in the moment? And were you really purposeful? And I think, what helps me be intentional and purposeful and in the moment is really being intentional about my discipline and, showing up for myself health-wise, fitness-wise, and my faith. And I think if I wasn't intentional about showing up to take a break from reality when I needed to going on a walk when I needed to talking to God when I needed to going to yoga and, detoxing in the hot yoga and the heat, I don't think I'd be where I am because, I think a lot of the pain that you have or experiences and emotion you have is stored in your body. And a lot of times people don't realize that emotion and intention and purity is in every body part and organ of you. And in Chinese medicine, they say each organ is connected to a different issue or emotion. And so I think, being self-aware that you can store that. You can have toxins in you and not even know how to release them. So, it's good to know that. But anyways, bottom line is, life is fast. Life is incredibly fast. But if you are not authentic and sure of where you're going or passionate about something, where are you going with your life and what are you living for? And knowing and figuring it out is so important. So don't lose out or miss out on it, because before you know it, life is gone and you're struggling and you're wondering, what am I doing here? And it's never too late. So, don't miss out and put the intentionality in what you're doing and realize that it's so important.